Hola.
Hi guys, welcome back to my life as Roxy. Today's video is another painting video. If you are new here and you don't know what painting is very similar to the ketogenic lifestyle. If the ketogenic lifestyle is way more popular than the painting lifestyle is more popular in South Africa, Namibia, and some parts of the UK. So yes, you have three lists that you need to follow in the painting lifestyle. So the painting lifestyle is a high fat, low carb, medium protein. As I've mentioned, there are three lists that you need to follow in the painting lifestyle. The first list is the green list, then we have the orange list, and then we have the red list. Now today's video is an updated version of the orange list, and that is what we are going to go through today with you guys. So let's get started with the orange list. The orange list is also referred to as the sometimes list. So this is basically the list that you eat from sometimes. It's not the list that you eat from every day. The green list is the list that you eat from every day, but the orange list is what you eat from sometimes. The orange list contains foods that are not bad enough to go on the red list. Now I didn't mention that the red list is the list that you do not touch. The foods on that list is foods that you do not touch. It's foods that contain sugar and very high carbs, and painting is a low carb diet. We try to keep it below 5 grams per 100 gram or 6 grams per 100 gram. Normally foods in the 6 gram per 100 gram would be on the orange list. Between 6 gram and 25 gram per 100 gram would be on the orange list, and the foods that has carbohydrates below 5 gram would be on the green list, and foods more than 25 gram per 100 gram would be on the red list. So basically foods on the orange list is foods that are not healthy enough to be on the green list, but they're also not bad enough to be on the red list. There's also a very important point to note, and I'm going to read it to you guys. The reason why some foods just miss the green list and get allocated to the painting orange list, it's not because they have or they are bad for you, but purely because they contain more than 6 grams of carbohydrates for 100 gram of product. Foods that contain more than 6 gram per 100 gram normally go on the orange list or on the red list. So it's not necessarily that the foods are really bad for you, but it just means it has a very high carbohydrate content. So a lot of fruits and vegetables are also on the orange list. I know we all think that all fruits and vegetables are healthy, and it is, all fruits and vegetables are healthy, but the reason why fruits and vegetables or some fruits and vegetables end up on the orange list is because they have a high carb content or they have a lot of sugar. Now obviously, if you guys don't know, fruit contain sugar called fructose. So even though it is a good form of sugar, or it is basically seen as healthy because it's fruit, it is also very bad for you, especially when you suffer from insulin resistance. Now I am going to make a very separate video on insulin resistance, but basically I just thought that I needed to mention this to you guys. If you do suffer from insulin resistance, you might try to avoid the orange list and just stick to the green list. Or if you are diabetic, it is better to avoid the orange list and stick with the green list. But of course guys, please consult your doctor before you follow the painting lifestyle. Like I've said, if the diet works for one person, it doesn't mean that it would work for you too. So it's better to consult your doctor before you follow the painting diet. I personally feel it's safe, but it might not be as safe for you, so especially when you have like major problems, so it's better to consult your doctor. But with that being said, I'm also going to read a very important point is we have to remember that Banting diet is about limiting your carbohydrates intake. So any food items that exceeds the allowable amount of carbs finds its way onto the Banting orange list or the Banting red list. But it might not necessarily mean that it is unhealthy food, but it is basically just the fact that it contains more carbohydrates than it is allowed on the Banting diet. Although fruits are very healthy, we must remember that majority of the orange list is basically made out of fruit. There's two fruit categories on the Banting list. We get the fruit that is under 10 grams per 100 gram, and then we also get the fruit that is over 10 grams per 100 grams. So there is two different categories in the orange list made out of fruit, and I'm going to put that on screen for you guys so that you guys can see. But basically we need to remember when you decide, okay, how can I say, when you decide to eat from the orange list, you must remember that the foods on the orange list can store your weight. And if you are at that point where you see like you basically can't lose weight, you're not gaining any weight, but you're also not losing weight, it might be because you eat too much from the orange list. Now there is a very big golden rule when it comes to the orange list, and I'm going to read it to you guys. The only rule of the orange list is to stick to one portion of orange listed food per day. So that is basically the golden rule. So if I decide, okay, I'm going to eat something from the orange list, I can't eat two types of food from the orange list. I need to stick to one item. So say for example there's bananas and apples on the orange list. You can't eat both on the same day. You might eat apples today and then eat bananas, but remember there's also a restriction on how many apples and how many bananas you are allowed to eat per day, and that will be indicated on the list in brackets next to the fruit or vegetable or whatever food that is on the orange list. So please make sure that you check that out. You can't just go and decide, okay, I'm going to eat 10 apples. No, that's not how the orange list works. So each food has its own portion limit. Say for example you might be allowed to eat one apple on the Banting orange list per day, or you might be allowed to eat half a banana on an orange list. But back in the day when I made my first video on the orange list, they used to say that you can eat half or one banana or two apples, but now they mainly focus on weighing the apple or weighing the banana, so it's more in how many grams you are allowed to eat instead of saying that you need to eat one apple or two apples per day. So it's more focused on weighing your apple or your banana or your whatever you decide to eat on the orange list. Now there are a lot of enjoyable foods on the orange list, but please remember that you are only allowed to eat one item on the orange list. Don't forget this. I know a lot of people confuse this and say, okay, fine, they make some food and then they eat a lot of green list foods, or they might have a piece of meat and then they would have sweet potato, carrots and corn cob. You can't have all of those foods on your plate. So that's why I say if you don't really understand the orange list, it's important to read up on it more so that you can fully understand what you are allowed to eat or how much you are allowed to eat. But if you can avoid the orange list altogether and only focus on the green list, I think that you would lose weight faster and you would be more happy with yourself. But basically the orange list, it's like a treat list is something that you eat when you have some sweet cravings, because it contains a lot of fruit. So when you want to treat yourself is basically when you eat from the orange list. The orange list has 6 categories. I'm going to go through them briefly. We have the fruits that is under 10 gram per 100 gram. These fruits include spanspek, guavas, orange, grapefruit. There's a lot of fruit under this category, so you can have a look at the list. I'm going to pop it on screen. The second category is the vegetables. Although vegetables is healthy for you, but there are some vegetables that has a very high carb content, so it is on the orange list. These vegetables are carrots, sweet potatoes, and corn cob. And then we have the third category, which is legumes, which is the peanuts and the beans. Now I know in the past you were encouraged to basically eat peanuts, and even though peanuts is not really that bad for you, but you have to remember that when you find yourself in a position where you don't seem to be losing any weight, you need to remember that peanuts might be the reason why you're not losing weight, or why you're not losing enough weight. I know back in the days they said that you need to snack on peanuts and biltong jerky, but now we want you to be more cautious of what you eat, and peanuts is not healthy for you and it needs to be limited. That's why it's on the orange list. Then we have the fruits, the fruits that is over 10 gram by 100 gram. There's different types of fruits. We have the apples, the bananas, we have the cherries, we have the figs. So there is a lot of these fruits that are very delicious, but you need to limit what you eat, and you only need to eat one portion of these fruits on the list. So then we have the sweeteners, which is raw honey. A lot of people love honey, but honey of course has sugar, so you also need to limit the amount of honey that you eat. But you can eat it, but it's on the orange list. So if you decide that I'm gonna eat honey, then you can only eat honey. You can't eat honey and apples and bananas and whatever else you want to eat. And then we have the other types of foods like wasabi. So if you are a person that really loves what do you call it, if you are a person that really loves sushi, wasabi is on the orange list. So guys, these are the 6 categories of the Banting list. I went through them really fast because I wanted to explain to you guys what you are not allowed to do and how much food you're allowed to eat on the Banting list. So if you have any questions, and if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe and don't forget to hit the likes button, and go through my channel to find more painting videos, because I post painting videos every week explaining, breaking down the topic so that I can basically make it easier for people to understand, and I hope you learn a lot from my videos. But with that being said, thanks for watching and bye.